What's going on, y'all? Ooh, hold on. Try that again. What's going on, y'all? It's your man, Stephen Bardo, coming back to you for another edition of Bardo's Breakdown. I just want to come on because I didn't want to come on last night. I like to give a little bit of time to process what I saw. And what I saw last night, great basketball. Guys, this Illini team is something else. I tip my hat to them because you got a quick turnaround from a pretty tough loss at Michigan State, right? And they come back home against a very good Wisconsin team, hit 15 threes, did some really good things. Keaton Wagler was outstanding again, and yet Wisconsin appears to be one of the best closing teams in the Big Ten this season. They've won at Michigan. They've beaten Illinois, come from behind. I think they were down. They were down double digits, I thought, at the beginning of the second half or end of the first half. But the Badgers roared back. They've got one of the better backcourts in the Big Ten, and John Blackwell and Nick Boyd, and they seem to live in the paint the whole night. And so that's what I was concerned with, but I'll get to that in a second. The superlatives. Wagler was outstanding, guys. Now, the only reason I put the 5 turnovers in there is because I think what we're seeing is that teams are getting really physical with Keaton. And they know that he's got to play heavy minutes, so they're leaning on him. They're grabbing him. They're bumping him. And he's handling it. Now, he had 5 turnovers in last night's game. That's a little bit high for him. I know that's high for Brad and his staff. But considering what he's going through, considering that he's a freshman and he's averaging 22 points a game in Big Ten play, guys, like his statistics are phenomenal. And I think that the 5 turnovers might be a little bit of fatigue. You know, a quick turnaround coming from East Lansing game. That was an overtime game. He played heavy minutes in that one, played heavy minutes in this one. Again, he was outstanding offensively. Doesn't come off the floor very often. So I think those 5 turnovers are – you give Wisconsin credit for trying to harass him, switching defenders on him. I think Rapp tried to guard him a few times, and he just ate Rapp up. But that's to be expected. Rapp's big. He gets switched out on him. Try Austin Rapp. But Austin Rapp had a hell of a game too, 18 points, 3 rebounds, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. So – you know, this kid just continues to amaze me with his poise, with his shot-making ability, and the fact that he fights through a lot of contact and fatigue, okay? I thought this is Hummerkaus's best game. When Ben is on the floor and he's not hitting threes, I think he becomes a liability. Because although Underwood says he's improved defensively, he didn't have to do that much to improve from last year because he was terrible defender. So he's a little bit better, but if he's not stretching the floor, if he's not hitting threes, then his effectiveness, in my opinion, is diminished. But last night he was 2 of 4 from long range. He got 7 rebounds. That's a really good outing. Now he played in the absence of Andrei Stojakovic, so he got 34 minutes. But in those minutes, he was quite effective. So I was pleased to see him elevate his game to a game in that level, because that was a hotly contested game, like the loss was at Michigan State. But Hummerkaus came to play and he played well. Okay, guys. Now, then I'll switch over and say some things about Wisconsin here in a second. But guys, think about this now. I believe Kylan's missed 7 or 9 straight games, and the 2 losses that Illinois has had is they've not been full strength, and they've been in overtime. So, guys, I know it doesn't feel good when the Illini lose. I know that. I get that. But me coming from my analyst background, I tend to see things a little bit differently than a lot of people. And so, you know, these guys, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, they had a 12-game winning streak. Before they go to Michigan State, they lose in overtime for a Herculean effort from Jeremy Fears. You know, they balled out, though. And let me see. Let me go back and look at the. So Wagler he came back to earth in that game, but he was still 10 of 12 from the free throw line. He has 6 rebounds, right? It was a subpar game for him, and he still has 16, 6, and 3. And that's a subpar game, guys. Look, they only hit 10 threes at Michigan State. They hit 15 threes last night. What did Derek put in his notes? Let me go back and see if I can find this, because I wanted to share this with you guys. I think I want you guys to keep this in mind. After a loss, you gotta always look at the bigger picture. And here's what I think the bigger picture is. Okay, bear with me for a second as I pull this up. All right. Illinois entered the game ranked first in the Big Ten with 11.2 threes made per game. Okay, and they knocked down 15 versus Wisconsin. So generally, guys, if you're hitting 13 threes and above, you're going to win the game. But great effort by Wisconsin. The defense was lacking in this game for Illinois, but what I was telling you guys about before, what I was concerned about Illinois is if they face a team with a dynamic backcourt. Wisconsin has a dynamic backcourt. John Blackwell and Nick Boyd lived in the paint. They got to the paint at will, okay? That's where Bam will come in. He will definitely cut some of that off. But that's going to be a concern moving forward for the Illini, all right? Illini have made 10 or more threes in Big Ten leading 19 games this season. They're 15-4 when they hit 10 or more threes, okay? They've hit 15 or more threes 6 times this season and 4th time in Big Ten play, all right? Now, the Illini rebounded Wisconsin by 3 rebounds last night, but the Badgers did work on the offensive glass. That was one of the few times that I've seen opposing team they got 14 offensive rebounds, did Wisconsin. And that was a big reason why they were able to pull off the upset. You generally don't see that for Illini teams giving up that many offensive rebounds. The Illini have out-rebounded 21 of 25 opponents this season with an 18-3 record in those contests. So, guys, in spite of the losses, this is still a juggernaut. It's still the best offense in America. It's still the tallest team in America. It still has an All-American in Keaton Wagler. They were without 2 starters last night. Now, I know they're starting to get used to Bam not being in the lineup, but he's a starter, guys. So the Illini without 2 starters losing overtime after hitting 15 threes. You see what I'm getting at, guys? It's an anomaly. Wisconsin with a dynamic backcourt. Boyd and Blackwell got theirs, right? They both got theirs. Hold on, let me pull that back up. And they were in the paint. They lived in the paint. So Nick Boyd was 10 of 19 for the 3. So he had 25 points, but he took 19 shots. He's 3 of 5 from 3. Nobody from Wisconsin shot more than 3 free throws. Okay, he ended up with 25. Blackwell had to go 9 for 22 to get his 24 points. Okay? So between Nick Boyd and Blackwell, that's almost 50 points. But it's the way that they scored. It's the way that they attacked the Illini defense that broke them down consistently off the bounce. That's my concern. I've been saying this, guys. I've been consistent with that sentiment. And so understand that this is going to be something that the Illini are going to have to overcome. Okay? And so as I mentioned this, let's look at Illinois' remaining schedule, because now things get a little interesting. Remember, I talked about I wasn't concerned with Indiana before. I am now. Connor Enright doesn't score a lot, but he puts a ton of pressure on your defense. He is fast. He is quick. He doesn't score a lot, but he will break your defense down. Okay? He will break your defense down. Hold on. Trying to pull something up. So whereas I was, I was like, oh man, I'm not so concerned with the Hoosiers. I am now. I wasn't as concerned with UCLA, but with Elijah Arenas coming on the way he is and their backcourt, I am now. Now, can Illinois still dominate the post? Of course. Can they dominate the glass? Yes, they can. And can they put Indiana and USC in defensive rotation to where they can shoot the three like they did last night? Yes, they can. Okay. However, I'm concerned, again, defensively, because if you go to USC and these guys start playing one-on-one and they start getting the matchups they like, Baker Mazzara, what's the USC guard that hit Iowa for 33? They've got some capable backcourt guys that can go get their own bucket. Now, up front, they're not much, and that's where Illini can bludgeon them. And Indiana, up front, they're not particularly as strong. They've got some big bodies that play their role, but offensively, they're not going to hurt you. But, again, this will be a good test for the Illini moving forward, okay? All right, let me see what you guys are talking about over here. What's up, Carol? Good to see you. Yeah, John's having an all Big Ten type season, Carol. And I love the way that in the last two games, I think the loss at Indiana, I believe he had 18 in the second half. He came on last night in the second half as well. He's playing well. What's up, Crumbs? Good to see you, man. Thanks for tuning in. Well, Stacy, that would make sense that they would put the Ivicic brothers in and play high-low, but that's not their offensive scheme. Their offensive scheme is to not have the post wide open, play a continuity offense where the ball, they're hunting matchup advantages. So that's why you see the ball swing on the perimeter. There'll be some ball screen action. Strong side, the first guard will cut, the first wing player will cut through, cut away from the basketball. Then you've got a two-player action, ball screen action on one side. They run a continuity offense. A lot of teams run the same thing in college basketball. They do run Tomislav and Big Z into the post from time to time. You'll see them when they get the mismatch, they'll back guys down, but they're not doing the high-low stuff. That's Bill Self and his offense at Kansas. He played that at Illinois when he was coaching Illinois. Brad doesn't run that offense. And so you could see the two bigs. You can see the brothers in at the same time, but you'll see that more likely against Michigan, a team with a larger front line. Purdue, you'll see it some against Purdue when they go Oscar Clough and Trey Kaufman-Wren, but you generally won't see that lineup. But thanks for tuning in, Stacy. Yeah, Ben played well. I was happy for Ben because I think that Ben's going to have nights where he doesn't look like he belongs because he doesn't. And then there'll be nights like last night where he's in the flow of the game. He knows he's not going to come out. And I think Ben is a guy that I don't know this personally. I talked to Ben a little bit, when he was there, when I was still working, calling games. He's a very, very nice young man, but I think he's the type of player, guys, that he's his harshest critic. And so if that first shot doesn't go down and he's not involved in the game necessarily on the offensive end, I think it hurts his confidence. Then you see him become a little bit more tentative from three. You don't see him crashing the glass maybe as much. But I know the guy means well. He's a total team player. and Underwood loves him. So, oh, Stacy, there's no doubt about it. The Big Ten isn't as rigorous and or as deep and competitive as it has been in years past, but they're getting tuned up. It's a Illini team, guys. I gotta remind you now. They've been playing without their best defender for the last seven or eight, 9 games, something like that. Since Bam's been out, the teeth of the Big Ten slate, their best defender, and I believe Bam was their second leading scorer when he went down. So you're taking your second leading scorer and your best defender and a primary ball handler and initiator out of your lineup, and you're still in second place in the Big Ten. You've lost 2 games in overtime, guys. Overtime. Not like they didn't get blown out. You went on the road in East Breslin in a game that they had to have. Michigan State had to have that game. They couldn't lose 3 in a row, right? Then you come back and you play a Wisconsin team that was really smarting from their overtime loss in Indiana. They really had that game and they gave it away. They felt like they gave it away. So you're hosting a desperate team in Wisconsin, and Illinois loses in overtime in both of those games. Guys, don't be concerned. This is a Final Four caliber team, and I'm impressed, especially in these last 2 games, guys. I'm impressed. So, they more than most teams have a chance to make it to the Final Four. Yeah, those are critical, Carol. And again, now you're talking about a freshman in February. He's probably worn down. That game was physical last night. And, it's not going to be your game sometimes. You just, for whatever reason, 80% free throw shooters. I mean, I've seen Braden Smith miss 3 free throws in a game. Pardon me. And he's an upper 80% free throw shooter. And Carol, you know this, being a hooper yourself. Sometimes it just doesn't go your way. February is a weird month. It's not a weird month. Let me rephrase that. February separates the men from the boys. Teams who start to elevate in February will be those that you'll be talking about during March Madness. Some teams hit a rut, like we're seeing with Nebraska. Nebraska is hitting a rut, but they only lost in overtime. Again, guys, you got to keep in mind the bigger picture, and the line I'd be fine from the free throw line. You're not going to see the Illini lose another game this season if they hit 15 threes. That was a total anomaly. They gave up 14 offensive rebounds. They never do that. They turned the ball over more than they had been turning the ball over. I believe they had 14 turnovers. That in these close games with these upper echelon Big Ten teams, those turnovers are killers, as you guys know. Musselman has Brad's number. Well, we'll see. We'll see. UCLA is going to have to play a hell of a game to upset the Illini, even when the Illini are playing on their home floor. I think the challenge will be containing their perimeter players that can beat you off the bounce. Baker Mazzara, Arenas, Cam. What is Cam's last name? Cam something, who I told you earlier, he hit Iowa for 33. That's my main concern. We'll see. It's a great test. Crumbs, I was a little surprised we didn't see a little bit more zone last night. Wisconsin likes to shoot the threes. They love to score the basketball. But just to give a different look, I was kind of surprised. I thought we might see some zone defense last night, but we didn't. It's a good call there, Crumbs. Yes, Carol. Claude is now with Washington, and he's injured. But yes, he had a game, as did the other young man that transferred from USC to Washington. Oh, and I like him. Damn, his name is escaping me. I'm living too good down there in Mexico, y'all. My my memory goes a little bit. It'll come to me. I can see his face right now. Strong guard. He had a hell of a game as well. Hey, Chad, no worries, bro. Good to see you, and thanks for always supporting you and Carol. He's been I don't know that he's been full contact practicing, but he's been practicing. So I would think by the Michigan game, I think he'd probably be ready to go. I'd be surprised if he doesn't play the game before or the Michigan game. That's my guess. If you're Underwood, how would you address rebound and free throw issues the past couple of games? Without Boswell, I feel like the team will start pressuring Keaton more. Hey, Brennan, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for this. I thought teams would be pressuring Wagler way more than they're doing. I would make Mirkovic bring the ball up every single time. I would deny Keaton Wagler every time. He's not coming out of the game, guys. He can't. And defensively, I don't know why guys don't go at him. He's a decent defender. He's not an elite defender. He doesn't have to be, because he's got to expend most of his energy on the offensive end. But I would go at him. I would. I'm surprised more teams don't do it. I think that's why you see basketball is becoming more of a copycat sport. Teams do a lot of the same stuff now. They're not teams that have different identities and do different things. It's almost like it's against the rules of pressure full court. I don't understand that, because you're playing the best. If you're going up against the Fighting Illini, you're playing the best offensive team in the country. If you're going to allow them to do what they normally do, then you're going to lose. You're going to lose. But we'll see what happens. Fluke games, guys. Again, it's February. You got guys playing in new situations, new roles, bigger roles. It's February. They're tired. They're worn down. You get these teams in must-win situations, like the Illini have had the last two games against Michigan State and Wisconsin, and these things happen. I think these are blips on the radar. I don't think these are long-term problems. But thank you, Brendan. Well, St. Dominic, I would disagree with you. I think Underwood is very flexible. High-low packages make sense if that's a part of your offensive repertoire. But that's not how the Illini play on offense. So it seems like it would make sense if that's what they did, but that's not what they do. That's not how they play. Their offensive scheme is predicated on attacking you with floor spacing, attacking mismatches, getting two defenders on the ball so they can spray it and have a 4-on-3 advantage. That's how the Illini's offense is run. They don't have a high-low kind of a wrinkle. I haven't seen it. But yeah, Brad's stubborn. That's not new. But part of his stubbornness is what makes him a really good coach. I agree. Be deal. I do. Look, the guy can run the point. An NBA scout told me one of the things they love about Mirkovic is that when he rebounds, he goes with two hands almost every time, and he's getting the ball at the height. So he's catching it, and he's smacking that shit, because that sends a message to other people. Stick your hand in here if you want to. Come back with a nub. Come back with a broken finger. So he's an elite rebounder. He's a good passer for a big. He can run the point. He can score in the post and he can shoot the three. He struggled from the free throw line. And let's see. David was 3 of 6 from. He was 3 of 7, 3 of 6 from three. Missed 3 free throws, 6 rebounds. Now he had 4 turnovers, so that hurt a little bit. Between he and Wagler, they had 9 turnovers. That hurt him a little bit. But he's handling the basketball a lot. So, but I agree. I like Mirkovic, and I think when Boswell and Stojakovic come back, Illinois will be one of the teams to beat in the country moving forward. Chad, the NCAA changes their rules and stuff so fast. Even when I was getting paid to know it, sometimes I didn't know it because they just change all the time. So I don't know. I see Ty on the bench. I don't know if he's redshirted. I don't know if he can redshirt. I think he already redshirted before. So I'm really unclear on that. So I'm really not the one to ask. Well, okay, Saint. Here's the thing. Don't be hard on Brad. They got a top 10 team this year. I mean, he was able to attract such a unique roster to Champaign. And all these guys getting recruited from other schools, guys, and he's getting this type of elite talent. He's been getting this type of elite talent. He's had nothing but pros. Since Kofi and Io, they've had nothing but pros on their roster. So as we know, guys, the NCAA tournament is luck, it's seeding, and how many pros do you have on your team? Now the Illini got the pros; they got pros. We'll see with the seeding, we'll see with the luck. But there's a lot that's out of the Illini's control when it comes to what their seed and where they're going to be situated. But they're going to be a high seed. I know that. David, I agree with what you. This is solid here. This is solid. So Finn lineup caught up last night. I agree, but here's the thing, guys. If we go back and look at Wisconsin, Wisconsin played 7 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They played 7 guys double-digit minutes. Hold on. I got my windows open. And they don't know what mufflers are in this part of Mexico. So Wisconsin had 7 players play double-digit minutes, and Jack Janicki got 9 minutes. So, and it's February. So everybody, I know what you're saying. We're out 2 starters. I know what you're saying, but it's February. What's good, Fred? Miss you at games. Hopefully that means something since just don't talk 89 games at IU. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Yeah, no, it's all good, man. I'm enjoying my life. Having a good time down here in Mexico. Okay, Almighty. Here's what I'm going to say to this. Wisconsin's a good team. They won at Michigan. Okay? I know you guys want to win every game. I get that. They got scholarship dudes too. They got guys on NIL as well. Their backcourt scored 50 on the Illini. Their backcourt scored, that is the highest. I believe they're one of the highest. I know they're the highest scoring duo in the Big Ten. They're one of the highest scoring duos in the country. That's an elite backcourt. And it took them overtime without 2 Illini starters. Guys, come on now. Almighty, I'm going to tell you something. That play was one of the best plays of my life. And I'm not trying to rub it in on you because you're a Hoosier. You're a proud Hoosier. I got mad respect for Indiana. But I'm going to tell you something. They call it the Simon Scott Assembly Hall. Assembly Hall then was way louder than it is now. Way louder. Because I called games in there recently compared to when I was playing, when Steve Alford and Keith Smart and Jay Edwards, and they, bringing back a national championship. That was the sweetest sound in all of sports. That place was rocking. When I made that baseball pass to Nick Aronson, he raised up for that three, and that thing hit nothing but cotton. Oh, the silence was the best thing. And my dad was on the floor celebrating with us, right? Those are memories I'll never forget. So, Almighty, thank you for tuning in. I'm not trying to make fun of it, but you brought back one of my best memories ever in life, was winning at Indiana, letting Bobby Knight walk with his head down back to the locker room after we beat that ass. Mad respect to Indiana, though. Mad respect, but thank you for bringing that up. Chad, I don't know. They're going to put a hard cap on what the programs can offer the school, the athletes. But the NIL is still outside of the school. So now the schools are made to pay, I believe it's 20 to 22 million for Power 5 programs. And I mean, that goes to all their athletes. They spread that around, whatever the program wants to. And then there's NIL that's on top of that. So I have no idea, to be honest with you. Well, Almighty, it seems that way, but here's the thing. The Illini have been doing this all season. They've had success. Over 50% of their shot attempts are from three-point land. That's what they do. So they'll score more in the paint because games will start to slow down a little bit. They'll get a little bit more physical, a little bit more defensive oriented. They'll score in the paint because they rebound so well. And when Bam comes back, Bam can get off the bounce into the lane and cause havoc, right? So that's right, Almighty. Hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to Bardo Media, please subscribe and like, share, and comment this. Share with other basketball fans that you think would enjoy this content. I love having you on there. Thank you, Almighty, for that. Hey, what's up, Mel? Yes. Yes. 6 or 7 guys. You're right. You're right. Okay, now, Almighty, are you saying it's a must-win for the Hoosiers or the must-win for the Illini? I'm messing with you. I think it would be great. Carol, I think they'll be great. I like the fact that the Illini's schedule is a little bit, let me make sure, I think it's a little bit more backloaded than I had anticipated before because Indiana's better. USC is playing better. And so when I first looked at this, I didn't think that those would be challenges for the Illini, but, I'm not crazy about UCLA. There's something about that team I just don't like. I think they could I don't really see them. I see Illinois beating them pretty easily. I think Indiana and Southern Cal will be nice challenges for the Illini. Obviously, Michigan at home, and then Oregon at home, and then traveling to Maryland. So, really, Oregon came into Purdue and gave them a hell of a game. I guess since Nate Biddle's come back, they're playing a little bit better basketball. I still don't think Oregon will really give Illinois any problems. And then Maryland won't give the Illini any problems out in the last regular season game. So I see Indiana, Southern Cal, UCLA will be tough because it will be at UCLA, and it'll be a great opportunity for them. And it is a Saturday at 7 p.m. They might have some people in Pauley Pavilion. So I think Illinois is in great shape, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, okay. Okay. I got you, Almighty. All love here, brother. Um, Mark, I've heard that it at certain times, I've heard that they take that into consideration, but the Illini's numbers are so gaudy, I don't think that it will really matter. Um, that's right, Carol. That was probably one of your better calls of your life there. Um, yes, David. Exactly, David. You understand. Um, love you too, Corey. Good to see you, man. No, I don't. I don't. Hey, Tyler, good to see you. I don't think the Big Ten title's out of reach. Um, let me pull up Big Ten standings. No, I don't think it's out of reach. They're 2 games behind Michigan. um, hold on, bear with me for a second. I got distracted there. Saw something about the National Guard getting removed from Chicago. I didn't even know they were there. Let's see. Standings. Here we go. All right. So when we look at the standings, Michigan 12-1, Illinois 11-3. Now, Michigan, let's see what they have left on their schedule. Obviously, they have to come to Champaign, third to the last game of the regular season for them. So Michigan's at Northwestern tonight. I don't think they'll get pushed in that game. They host UCLA on Saturday. Then they travel to Purdue next Tuesday. Then they play Duke, I believe, in Washington, D.C., February 21st. Then they host a very underrated Minnesota team. Minnesota is a lot better than their record indicates. They'll host Minnesota at home, and then they go to Illinois February 27th. And then they got to go to Iowa Thursday, March 5th. And then they finish regular season at home Sunday, March 8th, hosting Michigan State. So Michigan definitely has some opportunities to lose a few games in there. I think Illinois is still in really good position to challenge for a Big Ten title. Thank you, David. Thanks for tuning in, man. Right on, Corey. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for tuning in. Well, Tyler, there's a lot of basketball left to be played. So, there's a show. There's a rest of regular season games, including the showdown with Michigan. Then you got the Big Ten conference tournament. So to kind of guess at this point is really tough for me. Oh man, Jim's my guy. I enjoy jumping on with Jim, and I enjoy seeing him. He's one of the guys I miss seeing on the road. Thank you, Fred. Um, Yep. Wait a minute. Saint says they have a line as a 3 seed right now. I think that can improve. I think, they could be a 2 seed, especially if they handle business at home against Michigan. I don't think Michigan's going to run the table before they meet the Illini. And you heard that they still got to go to Purdue. They got to host Michigan State. Let me hold on. At Iowa's not going to be easy. So they got home Michigan State, at Iowa, at Illinois, home against Minnesota, at Purdue, and home against UCLA in the last of the regular season games for them. So there'll be some movement still left to be done here with them. Okay, Tyler says they'll close 5-1 and snag a 2 seed. Now, what happens if they go 5-1 and they trip up in the Big Ten Conference tournament? See, that still holds a lot of weight because they'll be playing teams with tournament aspirations, pretty strong resumes. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys, this was great. Thanks for tuning in to Bardo's Breakdown. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to have a lead magnet for you guys next week. I'm working on that right now. But enjoy the games. Understand, guys, Atlanta lost 2 games in overtime. The last one was without 2 starters. Bam's been out for a while, and they're still balling. They're still the most offensively efficient team in the country. Now, they hit 90 last night. They gave up 91. We know that's an area that they need to improve, but this is a great team, guys. So don't panic. Enjoy the ride. Check back in with Bardo's Breakdown so you can come here and share your love and experience and knowledge for the game and root for your team, okay? I love you guys. Thank you all for your support. I know you can be doing a lot of other things, but you chose to spend time with me, so I really appreciate you. Love you all, and until next time, holla, y'all.